In a world where everyone wants to be the best, we chose something different. Stories aren't just watched here, they are felt. We don't compare. We observe. We grow.
As we jump into the scene, we enter a room and we see a group of friends playing video games. We then pan into a boy named Abhimanyu, who's 24 and he's calm, focused, and he's completely invested in the game. His fingers are moving like a machine.
In a world where winning is everything, some players forget what losing means.
And as we pan into the rest of the room, we see Ayush being excited.
भाई अभी that clutch was insane.
Then Max,
Bro, rush करते तो 10 kills और मिलते.
Satya, and
Strategy matters, not ego.
Som, who is enjoying and laughing.
मैं तो बस जिंदा बच गया, वही काफी है.
And we see Biswa,
Guys, new update आया है.
also Dark Cobra, in a low voice.
Not just update, something big.
And then suddenly, they see a screen pop up. And it says, Ultimate Survival Mode, enter if you dare. And then we see Biswa, who's serious.
This isn't normal. Code अलग है.
And then Maxo.
Scared हो क्या? Let's go.
And then Ayush.
टीम है ना? कुछ नहीं होगा.
And then everybody looks at Abhimanyu. And he's standing quiet and firm. And then he says,
Lucifer
All
01. Ready?
ready?
R.E. Eddie.
Then they press enter together. As we go into the next scene, we see Abhimanyu slowly opening his eyes. He is lying on the ground and he sees there is a real sky. He is outside. He feels the real wind. Then he whispers.
ये गेम नहीं है.
And then one by one his teammates wake up. So,
Guys, ये graphics too real है.
and Maxo being excited.
Even better.
And then as everyone wakes up, they start exploring, looking around, trying to know where they are in. And then we see they enter a broken house and they see weapons. Ayush then picks up a weapon but fires accidentally. He screams.
Coil feel हुआ. Actual main?
Then Biswa is terrified. And then they realize everything is real. This is a full sensory simulation.
This is full sensory simulation.
Then after some time, as they are exploring, they see a random player nearby who gets hit by a bullet in front of their eyes and falls down. Then they thought he will respawn, but it doesn't. Then they hear the voice of the system. Then everybody goes silent. Then we see Som shakingly saying,
Player eliminated. Permanently. Respawn? क्यों नहीं हुआ?
and then Biswa realizing.
Because there isn't one.
And then we see Abhimanyu stands, and as usual, just like in every other game, taking charge. And he talks to his friends.
Listen carefully. ये game नहीं है. ये survival.
And then Satya
Rules same है, but consequences real.
and Biswa start speaking.
Safe zone shrink हो रहा है.
And then we see Dark Cobra looks into the horizon and he sees a storm approaching. And then we see as they realize that this is a real game and their lives are at stake. We see Abhimanyu firm and speaking to his friends.
हम survive करेंगे, level up करेंगे, और साथ में बाहर निकलेंगे.
Maxo.
And if not,
And then we see Abhimanyu looking at him.
then we don't lose.
And then we see all the friends talking amongst each other. And as they look around, they see the storm is approaching closer, and which is the safe zone shrinking rapidly. And we see Som panicking
Zone fast आ रहा है. Run.
and Maxo grinning.
Finally, action.
And then everybody starts running into the jungle. but one wrong step and they take damage. Ayush trips over and falls, and then Abhimanyu pulls him up instantly. And he says to him,
No one gets left behind. Not now. Not ever.
and as all of them run into the jungle, they find a bunker and they go to hide in it. Then we see Biswa scanning the environment and he seems shocked.
Guys, system change हो रहा है.
Then Satya
Meaning
and Biswa
गेम अडेप्टिव है. हम जितना सर्वाइव करते हैं डिफिकल्टी उतनी बढ़ रही है.
and then Dark Cobra.
मतलब गेम wants us dead.
Then, as they are resting inside the bunker, they are
Hostiles,
attacked and
12
they
o'clock.
encounter their first real fight. As the enemy squad
Maxo,
attacks,
suppressive
Maxo
fire.
runs ahead, as always, and Satya gives him positions, Ayush gives him cover, and Som struggles but fights. And we see Dark Cobra disappears and flanks the enemy. And then Abhimanyu coordinates everything, and finally, they win. And after the win, everybody starts talking and discussing about the fight. We see Maxo angry,
We could have ended faster if we rushed
and then Satya,
and lost 2 members.
and again Maxo.
Fear makes you weak.
Abhimanyu in a cold voice.
Recklessness kills teams.
Then we see Dark Cobra watching everything silently. And as we see in the night, Dark Cobra is alone and he opens his hidden interface. And we see his secret stack, solo survival, RAM.
Team
And he whispers to himself.
is weakness.
Then, as the morning appears, they see a powerful squad approaching, Phantom Reapers, and their leader steps forward and he smiles.
Lucifer 01. Finally.
And Ayush,
They know us?
and then Abhimanyu.
This game remembers legends. You already saw the message, right?
And then both the squads try to intimidate each other, and the system voice echoes faintly.
Only one team can escape.
And then the Reapers say,
So tell me, who dies first in your team?
and then after the Reapers spoke, there was this silent all over. And seeds of doubt had been planted in the Lucifer Guild members' mind. And then suddenly they start fighting. There are explosions everywhere, and the multi-squad war begins. And we see Som, who gets injured, but Ayush saves him. And Maxo goes berserk, and Satya loses visual control. But then again, Dark Cobra disappears. And then we see Som gets badly injured, and in a weak voice he says,
Leave me, please!
then Ayush shouts at him saying,
Shut up! We don't leave!
and we see Abhimanyu hesitates for a second, and then he lifts Som and
Finish
says,
this together!
and then we see Abhimanyu starts changing emotionally. And then as we see Biswa hacks deeper into the system, a screen appears midair,
Hidden rule unlocked. Final stage. Solo survivor protocol. Meaning, only one player can exit.
and then suddenly silence is everywhere. No one speaks, and they sit silently. Even friends, now strangers. Then Maxo looks at Abhimanyu. We see Dark Cobra who smirks silently, and Ayush looks hurt.
If only one survives, then this was never a team.
Then, after a day passes and morning arrives, no one is talking to each other. Som is weak but alive, and Ayush stays beside him. And Maxo is sharpening his weapons, irritated. And Satya watches everyone carefully. And, as always, there is no sign of Dark Cobra.
टीम टूटने की आवाज गोलियों से ज्यादा खतरनाक होती है.
And we see Dark Cobra walks back calmly. And Maxo angrily says,
कहां था तू?
And then Dark Cobra in a cold voice.
Alive.
And then Satya.
You disappeared in fight. Twice.
And we see Dark Cobra smirks but says nothing. And in the next scene, we see the group moves towards the next zone. And suddenly there is an explosion. They are ambushed. Phantom Reapers strike again. Satya,
Positions compromised.
Abhimanyu,
Fall back. Stay together.
and then suddenly something goes wrong. The enemies knew their exact location. They escaped weirdly, and everyone breathing heavily. Viswa in a panic phase,
They tracked us from inside.
and there is silence. Everyone looks slowly toward Dark Cobra. And Dark Cobra pulls out his gun, points it at them. And Ayush, hurt, says,
Hey, why?
and then Dark Cobra coldly says,
Because I want to live.
Maxo,
Coward.
Dark Cobra.
No, realist.
And then Dark Cobra says,
This game isn't about skill. It's about choice.
Ayush steps closer. He looks at Abhimanyu.
Only one survives, Indud. I accepted that. You're still pretending this is a team. Attack now!
And then the fight explodes between Cobra and the rest of the team. Maxo charges, Satya coordinates, and Ayush protects Tom. And Abhimanyu faces Cobra directly. It is a close combat, brutal fight. Cobra versus Abhimanyu, skill versus skill.
While we have the opening. I'm on it! Cover me!
Biswa,
And in the chaos, we see a sword being fired, and this one gets hit.
system. तोड़ देना.
As there is silence, he falls, and Ayush screams his name. And this one, in a weak, slight smile, his hand drops, eliminated. This one got eliminated. And after that, something breaks inside of him. He goes full aggressive, no strategy, only rage. And Maxo shocked,
Abhi! Stop!
but Abhimanyu doesn't stop. Cobra escapes.
Where is he
There is
going?
smoke and chaos. As Dark Cobra
Next time,
retrieves his
I
last
won't miss.
word, there is only silence that is left. Vishwa's body fades into light and gone. Swam crying quietly. Ayush shattered. Maxo angry but silent. Satya looks at Abhimanyu and in a low voice he says,
This is on all of us.
and then we hear Abhimanyu saying,
गेम हमें नहीं तोड़ रहा. हम खुद टूट रहे हैं.
And the remaining members are Abhimanyu, Ayush, Exo, Satya, Som.
the sky turns red and the air feels heavy, and only 5 survivors remain from Lucifer's 01. Abhimanyu, Ayush, Maxo, Satya, and Som. And we hear the system's voice echoing.
Final zone activated.
The mark transforms into a ruined city and burning structures. Som,
ये लास्ट लेवल है ना?
Satya,
Yeah, last chance.
and we see they take a shelter. Abhimanyu draws a plan on the ground. We see him focus,
No more mistakes. No rushing. No splitting.
and Maxo smirks slightly.
अब लीडर वापस आ गया.
And then Satya
Enemy 2 है. Phantom Reapers and Cobra.
and Ayush standing firm says,
We end both.
we see Maxo sits alone, for the first time, silent. Ayush approaches him. Ayush,
तू हमेशा रश करता है. क्यों?
and Maxo is still quiet.
Because standing still gets people killed. But maybe I was wrong.
The Phantom Reapers appear again. Their leader steps forward and he says,
Half your team gone, still pretending to win?
then Abhimanyu says,
We don't pretend. We survive.
and there is this tension and the final confrontation is building. We see explosions everywhere, there is gunfire everywhere, and Satya directs movements. Ayush covers Som, and Maxo fights controlled, not reckless. And Abhimanyu leads from the front. And we see this is their best teamwork yet.
लेफ्ट फ्लैंक दहा के रखो, रीपर्स पीछे से आ रहे हैं, सब ग्रुप अप, हम साथ हैं तो कई हमें नहीं हरा सकता.
We see Som, who's still injured, but he steps forward. The enemies push hard. Som shouts and says,
मैं रोकता हूँ, तुम लोग आगे बढ़ो.
and Ayush,
No, we stay together.
and then Som smiles weakly and says,
अभी बला था, no mistakes.
he holds position and buys time. They are not dead yet, but this foreshadows sacrifice. A shot echoes. One reaper drops. Everyone looks up. On a rooftop, there is Dark Cobra. Maxo.
वापस आ गया.
And then Cobra says in a cold voice,
Final round.
and we see a new chaos building. Lucifer 01 against Phantom Reapers against Dark Cobra. Cobra snipes everyone. Reapers push aggressively, and team struggles to hold formation. And then we see Satya saying,
This isn't a battle! It's a slaughter!
we see everything slows down. Sounds fade. Abhimanyu sees this was death. Team breaking. Cobra's words echo.
Only one survives.
We see Abhimanyu closes his eyes, then opens them, calm and clear. And in a firm voice, he says,
No,
and everyone looks at him.
गेम के रूल्स गलत हैं, हम नहीं.
He rejects the solo survivor rule. We see Abhimanyu in a powerful voice saying,
हम सब बाहर जाएंगे या कोई नहीं.
and we see the battle is still raging. And the final war was about to explode fully. As the scene opens, we see the final war is at its peak. Everything is just chaos. We see buildings collapse, there is fire everywhere. Gunshots echo non-stop. And Lucifer 01 is barely held. We see Satya shouting.
Ammo low! We can't hold this!
Then Maxo says,
Then we end it!
we see the enemy squad closes in. There is no escape. And Maxo looks at Abhimanyu, smiles, and says,
लीडर, ए, इस बार रश सही होगा.
and before anyone reacts, he charges forward with grenades. Ayush says,
मैक्सो नो.
and we see a massive explosion. All the enemies wiped out. As the smoke clears, Maxo is gone. We see there is a silent grief. There are no words, just silence. Ayush tears up. Satya looks down. Abhimanyu clenches his fists. Another loss, but this time chosen. The Reaper leader steps forward and says,
You're already dead. You just don't know it.
and Abhimanyu says,
Maybe, but not alone.
and an intense duel breaks out. Strategy versus brute force. Close combat. We see the final blow. We see the Reaper leader defeated and Phantom Reapers eliminated. And as we go into the next scene, it is the final showdown between Abhimanyu and Cobra. As the storm intensifies and the only survivors are Abhimanyu, Ayush, Satya, and Som, who is barely alive, and Dark Cobra. We see Cobra steps down from the rooftop and says,
Now, it's real. You still think everyone can survive?
and then Abhimanyu says,
I know they can.
and then Cobra,
Then prove it.
and we see a brutal fight breaks out between them. There is gunfire, there is hand-to-hand combat. Both get injured, but Cobra gains the upper hand, and he points the gun at Abhimanyu.
This is where it ends.
Cobra fires, and as Cobra fires, we see Ayush getting shot, and the shot hits him, and Abhimanyu looks shocked. He screams.
Ayush!
We see Ayush with a weak smile. And then he collapses.
Team, remember?
There is just silence, but then suddenly Abhimanyu snaps. He gets a final burst of strength. He defeats the Dark Cobra, and Cobra falls. And in his last breath, he says,
Maybe. You were right. You were right.
eliminated. And in the next scene, we see the system starts glitching. We see Satya realizing.
Rule broken. System unstable.
We see the sky cracks and a portal opens.
Exit protocol activated.
And the only survivors remaining are Abhimanyu, Satya, Som, Ayush, who is barely alive, but the portal can only take limited people. And Ayush, in a weak voice, says,
Go! Finish it!
and then Abhimanyu says,
No. Together.
he refuses again.
We didn't.
We see the portal expands, but out of them, one cannot pass. We see, being the natural leader, Abhimanyu is forced to choose. He sends the others and he stays behind, and the game resets. As the next scene continues, we see the friends who are out. They are desperate and planning to save their friends. After a month, we see they get a notification.
Win the game. We broke it. No. Together.
Go! Finish it!
The game is still alive. New season available. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this journey, then become a part of the MS Snap family.
We don't compare, we observe, we grow.